Welcome back to my channel, SIR Joe Academy. Do well to subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to like, share, and follow. And at the same time, I want to use this medium to appreciate every one of you for watching my videos and for subscribing. Thank you very much. May God Almighty bless you abundantly. On my channel, we cover science, especially chemistry, physics. In addition to these subjects, we cover English and mathematics. Our lesson for today is on alternative to practical, that is qualitative analysis, which is also known as SWOT analysis. This is very useful for every science student, whether you are in senior secondary from SS1 to SS2, or you are preparing for any examination, whether you are preparing for WAEC NECO, exam, every one of you will find the lesson very useful. Actually, it's basically for WAEC NECO GCE 2026. But one thing about titration is that titration is for every science student. Now, on the day of exam, that is WAEC or NECO GCE, because on the day of exam, the practical is not conducted physically. So, which means that if the practical is not conducted physically, then you'll be required to do some calculations on that very day. So, I have this question as a good question that will be very useful for every one of you or every student. The question says, C is a mixture of two inorganic salts, that is CuCO3 and CuSO4. Now, CuCO3 is copper 2 triosocarbonate 4. Copper 2 triosocarbonate 4. And CuSO4 is copper 2 tetraososorbate 6. Copper 2 tetraososorbate 6. So, which means that for the salt analysis, we are to identify 3 ions from these two substances. And the ions are ions present. We have Cu2 plus, CO3 2 minus, and SO4 2 minus, SO4 2 minus. I said copper 2 ion, triosocarbonate 4 ion, and tetraososorbate 6 ion. They are the ions that are present in these two inorganic salts. Now, the one further says, complete the table below. We have a column for test, a column for observation, and a column for inference. Inference means conclusion. That is the conclusion you have drawn from the practical that you have conducted. Now, on that test, we have 2A Roman figure 1 because qualitative analysis is always in the second question of both WAEC and NECO practical. So we have A Roman figure 1, that's C plus H2O, then filter. C plus H2O, then filter. Now, observation, we have green residue, then blue filtrate. Green residue, blue filtrate. What do you mean by residue? Residue is the leftover on top of a filter funnel when you are carrying out filtration. The content inside the conical flask, that is, you place the filter funnel on top of a conical flask, then you can collect the filtrate inside the conical flask. Then the residue is the leftover on top of the filter paper. Meanwhile, on top of a filter funnel, you have to place a filter paper inside the filter funnel. Then the filter, the residue will now be collected on top of the filter funnel that you put filter paper on. Now, for the column inference, from the observation, we have green residue and blue filtrate. So for inference, T is a mixture of soluble and insoluble salts. It means that one of these salts is soluble and the other one is insoluble. Now 2A Roman figure 2. For 2A Roman figure 2, we have filtrate plus sodium hydroxide, filtrate plus NaOH aqueous in drops. When it is in drops, we have blue gelatinous precipitate. That is filtrate plus sodium hydroxide in drops. You have blue gelatinous precipitate. Then the inference for this very one is copper 2 plus is present. It means that copper 2 ion, that is plus is cation. So Cu2 plus is present. Then filtrate plus sodium hydroxide in excess, precipitate insoluble in excess, which means that the precipitate or PPT is insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide. So the conclusion or the inference is C copper 2 plus is present. Now for Roman figure 3. For Roman figure 3, filtrate plus NH3 aqueous. What is NH3? NH3 is ammonia. That's ammonia. So which means that aqueous ammonia means when you dissolve ammonia in water. So you have aqueous ammonia. So we have now filtrate plus NH3 aqueous in drops. We have pale blue gelatinous precipitate. Pale blue gelatinous precipitate. Then when you add it in excess, when it is in excess, the precipitate dissolved to give deep blue solution. Take note of the difference between when you add sodium hydroxide and ammonia. When you add sodium hydroxide, the precipitate does not dissolve in excess. But when you add ammonia in excess, the precipitate dissolved to give deep blue solution. Then for Roman figure 4, filtrate loss barium chloride, that is BaCl2, filtrate plus aqueous barium chloride. Filtrate plus barium chloride, aqueous. Here we have white precipitate, insoluble in dilute HCl. So which means that when you add dilute HCl, you will have white precipitate insoluble in dilute HCl. Now take note of this. Filtrate plus barium chloride gives white precipitate. Then when you add dilute HCl, the precipitate is insoluble in dilute HCl. Then what is our inference? Our inference here is SO4, that is tetraozosulfate 6 ion. Tetraozosulfate 6 ion is confirmed. Now for B Roman figure 1, first portion of residue plus heat. We have here the color change from green to black powder. Then B Roman figure 2. For B Roman figure 2, second portion of residue plus dilute HCl. Here we have effervescence, colorless. Yes, effervescence occurs, colorless, odorless gas which turn lime water milky. Now look at this case. What do you think the inference is in this case? When you have second portion of residue plus dilute HCl, and here you have effervescence occurs, colorless, odorless gas which turn lime water milky. Now let me further explain what is meant by effervescence. Effervescence is a situation or process that occurs when acid is added to a solid. You observe libration of gases, most especially libration of carbon dioxide. So let's solve the inference in this space together. So it means that CO2, that is carbon 4 gas, that's carbon 4 oxide, gas from CO3, 2 plus or HCO3 2 minus is present. And for the fact that these two salts, so which means that CO2 gas from CO3 2 minus is present. Kindly try as much as possible to look at the board very well and make sure you understand what I have taught you. Take note of the two sorts that we dealt with in this qualitative analysis. That's copper 2 triosocarbonate 4, that's copper 2 triosocarbonate 4, and copper 2 tetraozosulfate 6. Copper 2 tetraozosulfate 6. Do well to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next lesson. God bless you all. Remain ever blessed.